I'm joined today by Dr. Rex Copeland, who received the Order of the Bighorn Award this year from the Alberta government for his work as a veterinarian for birds of prey, among other things. Rex, I am sure that you have tons of stories about working with birds of prey.
I've got tons of stories that way, so that's going to be a hard one. I actually started working with birds of prey when I was a teenager before I even went to school, to university. And it's been something that's been with me, basically all my life. So I've been doing this for over 50 years is the truth of the matter. And I was doing my best to doctor birds even before I went to veterinary college. So anyway, I guess maybe an interesting story is how I got involved, which I was a military brat. My dad was in the Air Force, and we moved all over the place. And finally, his last posting was to Ottawa, and we ended up out in the very rural property in the Lanark Highlands, and it was a lot of bush and rocks and lakes, very beautiful, lovely place for kids to grow up. And anyway, in my hiking around there, I was attacked by a goshawk at a goshawk nest, and that got my attention. And I went back and caught one of the youngs just as it was leaving the nest, and proceeded to, this is when I was like 17 years old, to try to train this bird. And I did have it tame, and then I would turn it loose so that it would get flying exercise, which ultimately what happens is the bird goes wild, or when it finally learns how to hunt, it disappears and doesn't come back. Anyway, it did disappear. At the same time, in Ottawa, which was about 70 miles away, there was a biologist by the name of Richard Fife, who was a falconer, and he lost a bird. And his bird showed up on some farmer's doorstep, and the farmer got on the local radio station to say, "I found this hawk on my back step. Who does it belong to?" Well, my friends in Ottawa called and said, "That belongs to Rex Copeland." And Richard Fife went out, "Oh, that's mine." And they said, "No, it's not yours. It's Rex Copeland's." And anyway, he had no idea who Rex Copeland was, and looked me up, and cut a long story short, of course, I was doing it illegally. He taught me how to do it legally, and taught me how to do falconry. And anyway, that's where my beginnings started.
And I'm wondering, is there like a bird of prey that stands out to you because it's just so magnificent?
No, there's so many that are magnificent in their own right. Certainly, golden eagles are spectacular birds, but so are bald eagles. I think my son-in-law says that, when we have a big eagle here and it's walking across the floor, it kind of scares him like it's an old man kind of thing. Anyway, but then you get peregrine falcons, and they're such spectacular flyers that they're pretty impressive too. And then you get into the owls, and they're, especially some of the smaller saw-whet owls and those sort of things are so cute, and they're hard not to love.
Let's talk Order of the Bighorn. Congratulations, by the way. Was this something that you ever anticipated?
It was a complete and utter shock. I had a call from Mr. Ripley, and I wasn't here, so it was a recording. And then I got the recording, and it says, "Would you please call me about the Bighorn Award?" And I didn't have a clue what that was. And I called him up and I said, "I'm sorry, but what are you talking about?" And he said, "Oh, you don't know anything about this?" And I said, "No." And then he explained it all to me, and I realized who had probably nominated me, but they hadn't told me, because if I wasn't accepted, they didn't, they weren't going to, but I wasn't even aware it existed until I was called about it. So it was very impressive and very overwhelming. So.
Yeah, it's great recognition, after years of hard work.
Well, and there's, as I said at that night, it's kind of unfair that I get this award, because there's so many people that it takes to get, like game officers coming here to bring birds, and they have huge areas, and yet they take the time to bring stuff to me. And I've had people come as far away as High Level, which is 5 hours one way, to bring me an injured bird because they were that concerned about it. And in one occasion, it happened, the bird was so badly injured, I said, I'm sorry, but we have to euthanize it. And those are, but I mean, they all took that all on their stride. And then I have about half a dozen people that bring me food for hawks so that I can, because that's always a big problem. And then I have biologists that help me, and then my wife helps me all the time, and my daughters and granddaughters. And so there's a lot of people. It's not just me. It's I get the glory, I guess.
Yeah, it's like it's your name on the award, but you know that there is a big community of people supporting you. I think that's really wonderful. Rex, thank you so much for your time today, and congratulations again on the award.
Well, thank you very much. Take care.